what would you say would be one of the most influential games of all time? Well, if you asked the Library of Congress in 2007, they would say Super Mario Bros. 3, the original Doom, Tetris, and Sensible World of Soccer! And also Zork. And what the heck is Zork?
Zork? What is Zork?
Well, it's this.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
But also this.
I start fires! Aw, way to go, Ralph.
So yeah, Zork is a hugely influential game where you type things into this thing to get the game to react to you doing this thing, like a choose your own adventure game that has all the answers coded in. If you wanted to type something else, you could. And this amazing sounding game was made in the year...
Oh God! Oh!
Bro, who was even born then? Or like, what was even the most popular anime then?
Father, don't you think they would have a greater chance if they all went together?
Think of it like in Shadowheart Romance Simulator 3, where you get so many different outcomes depending on your inputs. What you type here, there are so many possibilities that you can enter for the game to accept and then progress and diverge the story as you work your way through Zork, a choose your own adventure game. So it's like those Goosebump books where you have to keep flipping over the pages to jump around the story, and I hated it so much because it would bend the book's spine and ruin them. And how do I even know about Zork? Look, man, we all had that phase of falling for the USA's military sign-up brainwashing games. And in Black Ops 1, your character is strapped to this chair, being forced to watch horrible things.
Oh, mommy. Smash.
However, if you button mash, you can break out and walk behind the chair to find the terminal where you can actually play a game that progresses depending on your inputs. Yes, Zork. And you want to know why this was possible in a Call of Duty game? Well, who do you think owns Zork? So Zork was released in 1977 on the PDP-10 mainframe computer. Oh man, I'm so out of my league here. But pretty much, it's a very early form of computer, mostly used in university research labs in the 1970s. But the developers and their company Infocom created Zork for this, and after some feedback, they approved upon it to be released for more modern computers in the 1980s.
Wow.
And it was a smash hit, because for the first time, you weren't trying to quarterback circle some pixels out of an arcade in a fighting game. No, this time, you were the main character, and you would explore the world of Zork. You would have to type this in to go right, enter this, read this item. For a game in the 80s, this was incredibly responsive to you, and as such it achieved 700,000 sales by the mid-80s. I can't stress how much of that is a smash hit in that year. I mean, this was your competition!
And that's how you play the game.
You stink, loser.
And it felt massive because there were seemingly infinite possibilities you could progress through the world of Zork. In a similar manner to how when you're playing a D&D style of game, you can have the adventure change based on what prompts the Dungeon Master gives you. But now it's like, whoa, I can play D&D without real life actual friends! Isn't that amazing? Imaginary PNG Marcus and Kirisu.
You put on the damn apron!
And as to Zork, you know, the name, well, those programmers, those nerdy rascals, they just called anything they hadn't thought of a name of as Zork. Yeah, it was just gibberish. They turned it into a franchise.
One of the things that people really hunger for is connection with another intelligent, sympathetic entity.
And as such, when anything is successful, Activision buys it out. No, I'm serious, they actually bought Infocom.
Buy 'em out, boys.
But it was a good thing, question mark, because they helped create even more Zork games, and then closed Infocom in 1989. Huh? Why is time so cyclical? But now at Activision, they wanted to expand the mostly text-based games into the new 3D adventure world, with you walking around the environment that was only imagined in text form. Now players would see the world in its true glory with the graphics and characters modeled in.
Don't matter. Want some rye?
Hey, that's not a 3D model, that's just a real model! So yes, FMV Games full motion video, when it helped save on costs and game size, they would put in these video scenes to help tell the story with real life actors and in an amazing way green screen them onto the game's world. Now, as someone not familiar with these kinds of games that much, the only experience I had was watching countless other people play them online, and let me tell you, they are a goldmine of entertainment. I think it's because there's just this earnestness to the acting, they really give it their all, not knowing the game would turn out to be, well, just this. But yeah, actually for this video, my original plan was to try some sort of FMV game. I didn't know where to start, but I had heard good things about the Titanic adventure through time, and it was good. A bit too good. Because yeah, it has really good visuals and really good voice acting.
It's your job to find out. His lordship's watching this very closely.
And yet, I was kinda not hoping for that. Because from what I know about these types of games, it was in that era of peak, jank, and cringe. But we all accepted it because we were young and it's all nostalgic to us. But now that we're way older, oh god, time isn't slowing down. I love experiencing these cringy games like this. They give me so much joy. So yeah, I kinda grew bored of this game due to how good it was. There were no chips in the armor, except in the hull after the iceberg. And after stumbling around to see what good FMV games there were that I could make a YouTube video on, I found out about Zork and it clicked in my head, hey, wait a minute, that's the book nerd-ass game from the Dude Bro game. And as you know on this channel, we don't love those book games. It's a joke, we love them. But where would I buy this? That was easy. But I don't know, it seems pretty expensive. I mean, I could buy 1 copy of this, or 2 copies of that Switch game for me and my life partner. But since I don't have a life partner at the moment, I'll stick with Zork. So yes, we had 3 Zork games in this era of 3D. Completely different as you will see, not really connected to each other, just in the Zork universe. And for a universe, it sure is something. So in 1993, as part of Activision's attempt to revive the company, under the new president's orders of Bobby Kotick, he bought Infocom with his friends' money and then fired all the employees. Activision made Return to Zork, which was now going to be in first person, and more point and click in the style of similar games at the time. Where it's pretty much you clicking on things in the environment, not that many things to click on, mind you, to find items you need to progress the story, including multiple endings, while moving about where you click on the mouse to point in that direction with the arrow. Yeah, this game can be mostly played with the mouse. And if offered, you could rotate the camera in some areas to look at the scenes from the other side. But man, was this game hard! Because if you so much as breathe funny, this happens! Yeah, you gotta be saving often, as nearly anything can kill you if you do it the wrong way. So let's take a look at the big first 3D Zork game, which is set years after anything in Zork's lore, sort of pushing the universe into that 20th century as opposed to a more fantasy setting. And you are a sweepstakes winner, which is told to you in the game's manual.
Which was the style at the time.
Where you have just been selected for an all expenses paid 4-day vacation in the fabulous Valley of the Sparrows. You call those sparrows? So yeah, it's like an excursion you go into, and it's kind of funny how they set it up where you're opening your mailbox and...
The sweepstakes winner. I've been looking forward to... No! No!
Yeah, this is so much better than the Titanic game already. And you land to the valley with only a camera that you can use to take low-res photos of the environment. Man, look at all that detail. And a magical orb with a guy stuck inside that's talking to you the whole time.
Hey, I've been talking a long time. I sense movement. I need a new battery. Can you hear me? A new battery!
And he says he needs a new battery, and thus begins your adventure to just wander around and not die. Because to make sure this game has so many options to emulate the tech Zork games, when you click on things, you get so many contextual events that you can do with every item. Like if you pick up a drink, you can look at it, you can put it away, you can or just drink it. To then there are items you can show to people, straight up hand it to them, or even throw it at them.
Don't you know how to do anything else? Maybe you could use a little decaf.
You can also just drop all your key items on the ground and never know if you needed them for later. I guess for people back in the early 90s, Jesus, how many of them are dead by now? Getting over 38 easy! This was an endless way to replay the one game you got for Christmas, or you just played on your dad's PC. I guess my time was way after this because all I had on PC was those Scooby-Doo and Magic School Bus games. Man, I love them so much.
Why did the dinosaur throw a clock out the window? He wanted to see time fly.
And so that's pretty much the gameplay. You can try it out without a guide and then you'll see. Death is very quick. Also quick for the NPCs. Yes, you can kill them. No, I don't want to be locked out of the endings. So yes, I'll admit it, I'm using a guide for a 30-year-old game. And that's cool because gaming shouldn't be gatekept. Unless you play Batman Arkham Knight on a controller, then that will instantly put you out of the friend material list. So what you're meant to do is pick up a rock and throw it at the vulture to then get this bonding plant, which is so incredibly important for the late game. Oh yeah, I'll be loosely detailing what you need to do so as to not spoil everything this game has to offer, as you then head to the lighthouse to meet the Keeper.
Oh.
And you talk to him while also picking some emotional responses, but they don't really do much apart from causing death to you if you threaten the wrong person.
They might learn something. I beg your pardon, but you are a guest in our town. Act like it. I'll call the sheriff. I will. I'll lock you in a cell with a groom. Stop it!
But then sometimes you got to grr at people to get them to do things for you, and you can show them items to talk about it.
That old bore. Oh, that reminds me. Did you hear the one about the apple?
Well, nothing to do here except head out back, cut the vines, make a raft, and use it to float downstream into town. What do you mean that wasn't telegraphed to the player? As we head into the first house.
Don't matter.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
And he will constantly give you this drink every time you enter, so you gotta sneak it behind the plant for him to go.
Want some rye?
Ah, damn it, he's alive! Well, you get his keys to then go into the item shop to get these free items like the battery you needed in the orb. Then you get this item to give to a kid under a bridge, and he'll give you a gift, which is very important for the end game. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't think you would.
What year is it? Oh yeah, the Great Diffusion was 1247. That was 400 years ago. My birthday's coming up soon. Oh man, now I gotta get him a gift. So in the schoolhouse you actually have to answer a test, and the answers are only in the manual. You know, the guide you have open on your second monitor. Because in Zork, they don't play by our rules. I mean, the years are called GUE, and as such the days of the week are not similar to our ones. And if you get it wrong... I should also mention the FMV of the characters aren't really full motion. It does this incredibly unique style where they capture one part of the actor's face and splice them together like stop motion. I don't know, I'll just call it like sprites, you dang weeb. Or even the award-winning Angela Anaconda TV show that was featured in the Digimon movie.
People who make Angela Anaconda make me talk by matching up my 33 mouth positions to the
So yeah, it's actually cool in a way. You got these 2D sprites that you would see from a visual novel, but using real actors. And not having them have to physically record every line, letting them instead mix and match the faces to make new expressions. But you also got these FMV scenes at times, where usually when you're meeting new characters.
I'm the mayor of Shambar. Glad to meet you. I hope you're registered to vote.
Mate, I'm 30 years old! And you can read these files which will give you hints on progressing and so on. We'll eventually go down the ladder in Ryman's house to take you to West Shambar, which is where the majority of the game takes place. Yeah, this part of the map doesn't really have much to do, as you will be on this side a lot, and you pick up this book at the Fool's Memorial. Gee, everybody gets a statue these days. And then you try to enter this girl's house, realize the doors are locked, so you just break in through the window. But don't fear, she has a guard dog! And after finding her in the bathroom...
Huh? Hold it right there.
Hey, easy, I said I was registered to vote! But here you can wash that kid's gift to get the disc piece, which is a key to solving the game, as it's one of those things, you know, it's like a magical kingdom. The plot is kind of all over the place. I mean, the setting is too. You got like this Wild West modern sort of town, but then you got these fantasy swamps and mazes. So after obtaining rat, you have to play this game of weird chess with this guy. And the guide I was using was freaking out because, oh man, this is so hard. You cannot wing it with RNG. Just save and keep retrying. I won first try. I actually thought I was the other character. So a lot of this game has reoccurring segments that you need to complete, like things you do way early on to unlock the true ending. Like you gotta keep giving this book to citizens for them to tell you jokes.
About the boar in the forest. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, brother, this
Greasy
guy
finger.
stinks.
And yeah, okay, I was kind of getting a bit lost around here.
There you you are.
Don't
You wanna hear
scare me
something?
like that! So yeah, I was kind of lost in that I needed to find a boat. Yet instead, I found the greatest anime fight ever!
You big ox!
I may be blind, but I can hear you.
I'm a fairy.
Stand still and fight!
But turns out the boat was here to the side when you turn around in the town. And to power up the boat, you need... rat. Make sure you don't anger this guy.
I didn't want to have to do this.
Which then takes us to the witch.
Frogs have to boil down just a bit. I use too much water. Some guest!
You know, some people would pay good money to be turned into a rat by a dominant witch. What you're meant to do is talk to her so you can grab her pet bats, which you will need for the stupidest mechanic later on.
Most people wouldn't dare smile at a witch. Someone special used to smile at me like that.
And thus begins, how the heck would you do this without a guide? Because here is a bog, and if you walk forward, you die. You log. You need the witch's stick to poke the ground to see if it's sturdy to land on every single tile. And you have no map, so you have no idea what's happening, how deep you're in, whether you reach a dead end and then you turn around and you take this shortcut and then 30 minutes later I escape!
Let us never speak of the shortcut again.
And now you're meant to go through that forest, which itself is another maze that has traps and...
You good soul, my friend.
If you laughed at this, that means you hate trees, and that also means you hate one of them big shitty corporations. Nah, I'm just kidding, this is so hilarious! So after heading through, you enter this canyon, which gets darker the further you head in. But the way to fix that was to drink milk that you knew to milk from the cow earlier on. Fresh! But to not get lost, you release the bats at the entrance and follow their poop.
Poop?
Yes, poop. Who the heck comes up with this stuff? And eventually takes you to the wizard's house. Except there's no wizard. It's dark.
Quack, quack.
Well, use the scroll on them that you got from the egg that he pooped out to free him, and you show him the book and...
Here's a good one. How many Union Dwarfs does it take to dig up a piece of illuminite? 15. You got a problem with that? You got a problem with that?
And the wizard sends you into this ship in a bottle to find another one of those important disc pieces, while the guide is like, make sure you're holding in your hand the mirror item. Because yeah, in this game you can also hold items in your hand, like in the dark area you can hold a match to keep it bright, or place them in your inventory. And luckily there's no limit to this sizing because I don't know how a bag can fit all that. But as you exit he tries to turn you into a duck, but we reflect the spell with the mirror.
Canucks, wacko. Now he's quacko.
So after finding some rope, we travel down into this comedy club. And turns out we have this recorder that is recording everyone's conversations. No, really, you can play back their lines here, and what you're meant to do is show at least 4 people that book to get them to tell you jokes, and then you would replay them to the club to get some laughs, and then you would get the disc from the owner. Yet turns out I missed some people, the one being the mayor, and the other one being that Rebecca girl who you can never find because she's just stumbling around like some drunk Indiana Jones, until I found her 25 minutes later to get her joke.
I studied up. I can translate it now. Why do flatheads write TGIF on their shoes? Toes go in first.
Okay, I guess if you really want to put a spoiler section here, as I will be getting into the ending of this game, even though I'll try to keep it still vague, because for that ending, well, it's something. So after somehow knowing you needed to ask the boat puncher on how to tie a knot, you use it on a rope at the lighthouse that you return to by using a magic vulture call to land anywhere on the map. Oh man, I love fast travel! While also making sure you spend the night at the hotel.
Got a pounding headache? Try new Whamoprin. That's right, just one of these will stop that pounding headache. I don't feel a thing. Whamoprin. Give it a whack.
And I can't stress how frustrating this is. To get him to teach you that knot, it's like, oh, okay, I have my rope. Here, take it, man. Just teach me. Teach me the knot tying. But no, you gotta specifically click on the knot he's doing for him to show you how to use it. It didn't really feel that intuitive, let's just say. Anyway, you find this magic temple and they tell you to go into the mines and you gotta use the directions of these guys from their cryptic hints. They keep saying things like left, right, straight, and those are the orders you have to press on the car to not die. And now you have all the disc pieces, you place them here. Except I'm missing one! I swear I followed this guide, even multiple guides, since some parts of this one was not helpful and I do not know where this missing final piece is! And even with my save files, man, I ain't going through all that to grab this! Luckily, this is the 21st century. Someone else did it. And you go into the castle and play chess against the final boss and you win. Everything turns back into normal.
The master strategist. You have to teach me the finer points of Survivor.
Oh, sure. Man, I can see why it's influential, but holy moly, they weren't kidding with their old games being hard. At least you do get to save anywhere you want, but you will always have to remember to do this because so many things try to kill you. And if you're not following a guide, I don't know how you can naturally work out half of these things unless you're really dedicated to spending a lot of time with this game. Because so many things you do can actually soft lock you out of the true ending. Also, amusingly, I found out there's speedrunning of course there is for this game, but there's actually a glitch when you drop the book with an item, you can actually duplicate said item, and I think they use it to duplicate the disc pieces to get the ending quicker, but I think you have to do it at a certain point, I'm not too sure. But that's Return to Zork, and yes, it was impressive for the year it came out, how it managed to transition the open nature of text, Zork, into a 3D game, but I do wish there were at least more hints. Maybe the glowing orb guy could have hinted on what to do, but it was a good first attempt. And I'm excited to see how they can improve upon in the second game with more wacky adventure. Oh man, who turned out the lights? It's so dark. I'm gonna be honest, dear viewer, I really didn't like this game. Because while Return to Zork was goofier...
Oh, wait, I haven't got anything for you! I've only got one milk cow!
Zork Nemesis The Forbidden Lands felt like an entirely different genre that was made to be a completely different game, but then Activision at the last moment slapped on the Zork name branding. As now go on all the wonder and whimsy, and right, as you have this much darker game of Zork Nemesis in 1996 made by Zombie LLC, the only 3D Zork game that was not made by Activision. It was to use a brand new Z-Vision surround technology on the world. Bro, that's just a 360 camera! Bruh. Being one of the first games to have you explore a 3D world in a point-and-click adventure game. And yeah, after a very confusing intro scene,
finally, someone has come.
Bill dropped right in with no guide on what to do, no companion, just go. So yes, I'll be using a guide, okay? And one thing you'll notice, holy moly, what's with the cursor? That's actually one of the biggest complaints I saw, where people were really not ready for this zooming. I've however found it reasonable, as the game does have options to lower the sensitivity. So pretty much just following the guide, you enter this temple and you find that these 4 elemental guards are trapped and you need to go into different time period lands to free them.
He's mad.
Man, stop complaining about your back, just put some Voltaren on it! You do actually get a hint system where you can access this weird painting in the menus.
Touch me then.
Touch me harder.
But it's very contextual, as most of the time she's like, bro, I don't know where you are, so I ain't got no help for you.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry, did you want a whiff?
No!
More for me!
So the puzzles are in each part of the castle, taking you to different areas. Like here you gotta solve how to get one item by spinning around in your chair. That will change the time period outside the window, so that you can melt the ice here to get the water for the water god.
Yes.
Guess that's some real good water, huh?
Thank you. Nemesis.
Yo, she said the line!
Free the others. Please.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean,
It's my job, right?
So yeah, it's like you really don't know who you are. You got no companion. The music is very ambient and it just feels like a very lonely place. And I really don't enjoy puzzle games like this in this environment. Come on, I need some banter. Just some guy in an orb telling me about his birthday. Well, after picking the right track, we grab all the items and the gods are freed, so they save us from Nemesis, and they tell us to head to their homeland to get more items, which involves jankily spinning the planetarium to travel there. And the first one is in this castle.
Good lord, who are you? Never mind, stay inside.
Yeah, so now it's proper FMV where the actors will be green screen onto the environments you're on. It's actually a ton of scenes, eating up a lot of the budget of this game.
He's got a tank!
And man, I don't know if it was because of my guide or my waning enjoyment, but I was so lost here that I eventually just tried another area.
Too late. We're closed. Sorry. Thanks for coming.
Oh, okay then. So yeah, I won't really spoil this game because I don't really care, despite the acting this time being really high quality.
If you didn't sleep with the Archbishop's daughter, I wouldn't even know that you were a man.
I don't want you to talk about her.
Who? Your whore? Maybe I'll try her myself.
But thankfully, we aren't leaving on a sour note because with the final Zork game, it's really fun. They probably saw people's reactions to this and thought to bring the campiness back, way back!
You wouldn't be fishing for anything in particular now, would you? Because, see, I'm a fish and you're no fishing. So I gotta ask, you want a piece of me, Doc Boy? Or Doc Girl, I can't really tell, all you people look the same.
Yep, so time for the third and final Zork 3D game. Well, just a year later, Activision themselves will be back to develop Zork Grand Inquisitor. Back to whimsical tales, but instead of stop-motion acting, it was now in glorious full-motion video with all the campiness.
Never forget who is the boss of you. Me. I am the boss of you. I am.
And yet it wasn't as highly praised. Maybe because at the time everyone was releasing FMV point-and-click games like this, so it wasn't that special. But to me it was great opening the game up and just like, MPEG? Oh great, this ain't gonna be like the Bioshock Infinite, right?
Shun magic and shun the appearance of magic. Shun everything and then shun shunning.
Oh no, it's not. So starting off with real actual life footage of riots set against whimsical music, this game's plot is where the Inquisition has now banned the use of magic in the land and you gotta bring the joy back. Maybe it's kind of a meta thing where they want to bring the joy back after the Nemesis. So you land here and once again you don't get any instructions on where to go. It's using the Nemesis engine now, as you can rotate the camera in 360 degrees, but it's way more detailed, letting you see so much of the visual gags. And the audio gags are amazing as constantly you have this speech oppressing you, but in a very comedic tone. The writing really reminds me of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's goofy writing. 42! And yes, you gotta somehow bring back the magic in the world, because yes, magic is cool in Zork. What? You don't miss the magical teleporting Rebecca from the first game?
There you are.
Well, I tried this time to actually play without a guide, since I heard it was way more forgiving. So I head back this way to the castle, but it's blocked by a fence, so then the other way into this well, and oh no, it's pitch dark! And after dying, I get awarded the rank of salesperson. Well, thankfully this game is forgiving as you get autosaves. The autosave is at my death. Well, I didn't realize there was another path to town where... Whoa, hey, free food, let me get that.
My fish? Get your own. Look, it's past curfew. You're lucky I don't turn you in just for hanging around outside my shop. Now get out of here. That's it! Hey, guards! Come here and take care of this fish snatcher!
But I still wasn't using a guide, and I thought, what if I turn up the volume on the speaker so she can't hear me over the announcements? And then, yep, I can take it and put it on the fishing line to then get the lamp. Yes, this game is way more intuitive on what you need to do. But this town is very strange.
Oh, even if there weren't no curfew, I can't let you in. I'm completely new.
Huh? It's past curfew and I can't afford any trouble. Can't afford Jack. And I am Jack.
Well, he wants to see the lamp.
Holy hungus.
And this is Antheria Jack, who is a famous TV actor of an adventurer, now working in an item shop, and after he fixes our lamp, we discover it is magical. So he won't give it back to us because now it's illegal. So you know what you gotta do. Cause arson. Well, I tried to, but the game soft locked because I had still set the announcement speaker too loud from before. So the game was like, yeah, no one's gonna hear the arson now, but I didn't know you were gonna do that, so it just soft locks on me, so I had to redo it. Well, you set this off and watch as Jack gets blamed for the fire and arrested by the Inquisition. And now we can get the lamp and use it in the well. But turns out, yep, the lamp is magical.
The dungeon master. Well, they used to, before I got stuck in this lantern. The job doesn't mean much nowadays, but I was a big deal about 100 years ago. Then magic is banished, and Yannick, the Grand Inquisitor, sprays me with Frobah's electric wizard repellent. Suddenly, I'm torn from my body, floating helplessly, and I end up trapped in this piece of junk. Which brings me to you. What's your name? Okay, I'll just call you ageless, faceless, gender-neutral, culturally ambiguous adventure person. Afghan cop, for short.
I'm actually blown away. They were this thoughtful in a game released in the year Bill Clinton named his Labrador Buddy. And also Princess Diana died. Oh wow, the Mr. Bean movie aired!
Dr. Bean, would you like to join us? No.
Well, this guy is Dalboz, the soul of a dungeon master, and he takes us to Ygael, the lost enchantress, who gives us a spell, and now that's a big part of the gameplay. So in addition to point and clicking on the items to store on your inventory like the previous Zorks, you can use spells, which you find with these scrolls, and the shortcuts on the top right and top left of the screen. These spells are needed to beat the game, and they will often have you thinking outside of the puzzles. Like the first spell you get, you can open doors. But you won't just use it for that, as you got this dam puzzle, and you can use that same spell to open the door on the dam. So we head down and find this totem, which is the big bad thing the Inquisition is doing. I know, they're not murdering, they're totemizing people. It's all the rage, stuffing them into this little disc.
They hold the imprisoned spirits of magical creatures. It's cheaper and easier than torture, and it's certainly much more space efficient.
Oh wow, how about that? And you find out that this soul was a dragon, and you learn how he got captured.
Oh, beg mercy, my lord. Oh.
Avert your eyes. My gaze is terrible. I am a dragon.
Yeah, okay, this is my favorite Zork game. So we can't enter Dalboz's home because his security system doesn't recognize him. Also, he's just busy singing. So then we gotta head into the magical university and make sure not to fall into the pits. You plummet down the bottomless pit and plummet and plummet. As the years pass, you meet, mingle, and marry a similarly indisposed adventurer, have 3 children, and eventually die of old age.
How cute!
Okay, you're meant to spin these towers to get through, and in the uni you find the usual university things. Posters on the boards, candy machines with all the sugar treats, and professors stuck in the wall.
This is probably not a test.
So you learn Yannick, this guy, became the leader of the Inquisition because he was bad at magic, so wanted it to be banned everywhere. And this professor tells you that you need 3 artifacts to restore magic. A coconut, a Minecraft cube,
one of the 17 building blocks which form our existence.
See? And a skull. So now you can use your map in this device and it will teleport you to places you have already been. A really cool in-universe way to allow for backtracking. And now you gotta use the subway to go find those artifacts. But wait!
Because I can't read!
Don't worry, just use the Dumbify spell that makes tasks easier to understand. Wow, it really works! Why not I try it out on an actual real-world thing? So if I want to make my own mint ice cream using this spell, okay, the new steps are... And yeah, Dalboz is helping you throughout the game, piping up with hints if you get stuck. And I love how these environments look here. They have a more cohesion than the first game. They all look like they actually fit into the world this time. And it has so much more charm in the world building, as this is how you ride the train.
I guess I should warn you. The thing about the underground is... that there were a few cutbacks and then a few more. And then, well, they just never got around to installing the brakes. Hey, Slim, what you reading? How to hypnotize yourself. Guess it worked.
So you get this lottery ticket from the bozo, and this is difficult because you gotta figure out the path, and you will die if you get it wrong 3 times in a row. And any mistake means you gotta redo the entire path. So I guess what you're meant to do is physically write down the path on a pen and paper.
Which was the style at the time.
But, hey, come on, I'm a modern gamer who still has his PS3 on his desk. You will never be as cool as him.
You sicken me.
So back to uni, you're meant to use this candy and soda combination to make a mini bomb to blow up a locker. Wow, schools in Zork are just like the US, huh? But it's pretty hard to get them.
No! I hate it when that happens.
Well, to make sure you grab it, you can use the vacuum cleaner that you somehow had on you the entire game. Where the heck were you keeping that?
Bringing up the rear.
So you get the candy and soda, mix it together, and...
Warning, warning, presence of cola beverage 2, 1.
And now while you're doing this, you get these live action cutscenes showing what's happening to Jack.
You violated the laws and or pointed suggestions of the Inquisition, etc., etc., etc.
No problem. Of course. Oh, look, wait, there's a mistake here on line 17C.
Be a lamb, just sign in a line.
No, really, look, here, where it's supposed to say stand in line for 3 hours and then get totemized, it says pop the inspector one. Oh, sorry.
As he's gonna get totemized for disobeying. Well, now you find these broken spell scrolls and you need to fix them in the spell lab. But you got this invisible guy blocking the way. Huh. What if I turn him invisible?
Fat lot of good that'll do ya. How do you think I got to be the 6-armed invisible bridge guy in the first place? Somebody already beat you to it, me friend. Bah, get away from me bridge, you cretin.
Cut the bridge?
Ah!
You gained 86 experience points and found a healing potion. Oops, wrong kind of dungeon master.
And now you have enough items to distract Dalboss's bodyguard plans. Well, just kill the guy, why don't you?
Want some rye? Course you do.
No, he's back! So while you got the trippiest music in the background, you gotta listen to Dalboss's answering machine.
One word, watch dragon. And there isn't normally a phone in my flat, except that my flatmate appears to have swallowed some sort of ship. Well, there's no accounting for, digestive processes, but it appears to have once been a ship.
These are all 100 years old. Any poor fellow living in a dragon has probably been digested by now.
Wait, really?
Whoa, hey!
And now if you look out the window, a dancing castle. So now to get those important artifacts, you gotta use these time gates and shove the totems in to grab items for you, since only souls can travel through, not humans. And so we send the dragon into the house place to address a letter to Hell, which you'll receive later on when we head down there, which is right now. When to get to Hades, you gotta call the right number.
What was the famous response from Dinkelmar the Curt when asked to describe his unfortunate stay in the belly of a malodorous serpent?
Oh, I know that one.
You have correctly answered all the questions. Congratulations!
And you get ferried across, but you can't get through since there's a guard, or guards in the way.
You're looking for treasure, mana, crystals, red pages, blue pages, whatever.
It's all the same, really.
The point is, you want to get by.
They always do.
And we gotta kill you.
We always do.
There's a little banter, a little slang, chop, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then I gotta string your entrails all over the place and make a big mess.
We always do.
Your sword's glowing glue. Let me try that again. Your sword's glowing blue.
So to get past him, you actually gotta use this spell to take the form of the skeleton, to then pretend that's you, to then clock out.
What are you doing? That's not your card.
You're not Karan.
Who are you?
No, I panicked! So inside we find...
Hello. Brog like rocks.
Hi, my name's Dalboz. I'm the one in the lantern. The person who's carrying us around hasn't given us a name, so I just use Afghan Cop. I find it fits he, she, or it pretty well.
Brog am Brog.
Uh-huh. I never would have figured that out. So how'd you end up in that totem, big guy?
Bro, he's like a blue Shrek. I love him. So yeah, you get the letter from the dragon, and I didn't realize you have this feature in your inventory that you can view items here, and Dalbos will commentate on them, but you can also combine items so the letter opener to open the letter to get the spell. And now in this time gate, you can shove any totem you want.
Uh-oh. Brog can't swim. No. Brog won't
Brog,
go back
no,
now.
I'm sorry. Yes, they got dialogue for each of them, but you actually want the dragon here to fly around and get inside this big dragon's head to get the coconut. I also love how the little detail of every soul having their own inventory screen. Hey buddy, mind scooting over? There's like a British guy annoying me in the throat. I want to get away from him.
Hello, anybody? Oh, I don't mean to be a bother, but my ice is starting to melt.
And so you let that guy die inside the dragon's throat and you grab the coconut to head back. Anyway, now I'm going to put like a spoiler warning if you decide to play this for yourself. Yes, I did leave a bunch out and still will be doing so as we get towards the end game. So now you use Brog in the first time gate and break into the White House, a different White House, to then go inside and solve the puzzles here, which has you playing chess, but Brog is too big brain for that.
Much better at this game.
And you grab the skull, meaning you only have the cube being the last artifact. As we see Jack talking to the Inquisitor and telling him accidentally about us to save himself. So now the guards are looking for you as, yep, if you climb out of the well, there's a guard taking a whiz and he arrests you. What you instead have to do is sneak into the castle and go into this machine which will send you to different places, like hell, space, or New Jersey. Oh, so the machine is quite... Hey, wait, the Mars. Did we have those photos back then? So we find the final totem, Lucy Flathead, who is a mind reader and resistance member, as we see how she got captured.
Now, Gallows, what kind of loser Inquisition is this?
It's attitude like that that had made the House of Flathead what it is today. Fallen!
Who, me? And this place has a history of Zork, including, yes, a nod to Nemesis.
I'd accidentally cast Zimbor, a spell designed to turn one really big city into lots of tiny little ashes. He reportedly apologized to the city with the words, "Whoops, my bad."
So now you gotta find the final time gate, and this is how you enter it. So we send Lucy there to enter the casino's ladies' night. Except my game froze. Yep, the cursor disappeared, so I can't click it. And then I tried it again with the dragon and Brog, but nope. And I tried loading an earlier save and then speed running through, but nope. Apparently on this version on GOG, the save files can be bugged, and so I cannot get through unless I somehow play through the entire game again. And even then, there's a small chance it could be busted again. No, I was actually enjoying this one. Man, why must these old games be so janky? So yeah, I don't know if restarting would help fix it, and I am near the end, so I'll just watch the ending, which is super annoying because it really seemed like it was going to be fun to play through. As with Lucy, you have to win the cube off Jack by playing rock, paper, scissors. However, you have mind powers, so you can predict what he's thinking. Oh yeah, it's strip, rock, paper, scissors. So Lucy and Jack fall in love.
Pathetic, but cute.
But Lucy has to return to us with the cube. Yet now we all get captured by Yannick and thrown into jail. Jack though regrets what he did to us and helps us escape as we head to the final place where Yannick is giving a speech. Now that Enchantress tells us we gotta put the artifacts onto the tower to bring the magic back. As we sneak past the guards.
Pretty standard stock options package. 401k profit sharing, but it won't be fully vested for another 3 months.
Wow, this really is an Activision game.
Crafty.
Sweet York, we're all gonna die! Oh, merciful heavens, is this the end?
Try using the alarm clock on the door.
Oh, that's never gonna work. Who's gonna water my plants?
I can't breathe. The walls are closing in.
Let us out, let us out.
Please.
I hate adventurers.
Oh my God, they killed Kenny.
Holy hungus, that's an obscure reference. So you climb up and place them in as Yannick falls to his death and magic is restored while Jack and Lucy...
This is the part where we kiss.
and the game ends. Man, that was really fun. Such a delightfully charming game where it wasn't too difficult. Yes, I did use a guide at some points, but it was way more intuitive on how it wanted the player to progress. I really loved the aesthetic of the world, the characters too. It was such a fun game to play through. But of course, it didn't sell well. And even though there were 2 sequels that were announced in 1997, nothing has come through. And so the series has just languished, where in 2002, you can see on actual forums that are still up, you can visit them, people wanting more Zork games. What happened to all our Return Zork spirit? Look, I don't know Activision's email, but if you give it to me, I'll gladly blackmail them or send them angry letters. And 2002 internet was crazy. And then in 2003, a fan game was started and development looked to finish by the end of 2003. It's 18% done. Woohoo, I can't wait.
Determined or not, that cat must be long dead.
But then in 2009, Legends of Zork was born, a browser-based online adventure game, aiming to be like an MMO in the Zork universe.
Checking email, play Legends of Zork.
It was shut down 2 years later. I wonder what else this Jolt Online Gaming has made.
Now you trying to get me fired?
But yes, that was the 3D Zork games. And it's funny how wildly different they all play. The first being a brand new adventure trying to take the crazy openness of the text games into 3D, which is so frustrating to play without a guide, but it has its own charms and it doesn't take itself seriously. Then the third game, which you can really tell they were having fun with it. I mean, I even forgot to mention there's like a code you can type in and you can see the behind the scenes of the dev team. And Nemesis, well, I really have that suspicion it was made to be a different game, then got slapped with the Zork branding to help it sell more.
If it never had an association with Zork, it would be a great game.
Hey, hang on, she just pretty much admitted it! It's crazy what a legacy this series has. Being one of the most influential games ever, to even its 3D offerings pushing the genre forward to being huge sellers, to now just being an abandoned IP being used as Easter eggs in Call of Duty. I really enjoyed my time with these 3 games, all vastly different, and naturally Zork Grand Inquisitor is my favorite, but it is sad we will never see those 2 sequels. And man, I don't know, with how much people are enjoying the open-endedness of games like Baldur's Gate 3, I really think Zork could have a future again. Maybe a 3D remake of the original or just more wacky fun in the same setting. It really is a shame that style of FMV game has died out in recent years. I would love to see what the modern games do with a take on the FMV formula.
今天没课，刚好又认识了个新同学，就邀请他们来我这玩。
Well, that's my weekend taken care of. And that's it from me. I want to thank you for watching to the end. This is pretty out there for a video on exceedingly old games. Are there any other FMV games you would like to see? Hopefully more goofy like this. Or maybe I could take up streaming the other ones, if not videos at some point. But if you enjoyed this, I would appreciate a like and sub to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter for other news. And until then, I shall see you all on the next video.